Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, look, welcome back to the channel, World Wealth and Success in Motion with Mr. J. Howard. Listen, if you're here, it's probably because you're dealing with your own challenges and you might be searching for some motivation to keep going. Um, you know, just being real, life can sometimes be unpredictable, right? Different challenges, different motivations. Sometimes you need that extra push. I've been through some things in life and, just wasn't ready for some things that were thrown at me. I've had some really, really good times and then some bad times came following. And then I've had the opposite. Some bad times and some good times just came and followed up and helped the situation turn completely around. Um, you don't always see things coming. I've been there, right? I know recently within the last year or so, I got a divorce. All right. I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere, but finalizing everything is always, kind of like an eye opener. I've had some career changes. I've moved, right? Had some good business happen, had some tougher business happen, sold a few companies. And, um, you know, today I just wanted to share some ways that I'm pushing through, right? Even on the days when getting out of bed kind of feels impossible, right? I just wanted to share a couple tips and let you guys know some things that I've used to work through. The first thing is just really reflecting on the why, right? When things get tough, reconnecting with my why behind what I'm doing, it can be so grounding, right? For me, it's like a secret sauce, right? It's like you go through your tough times, you don't know how you're gonna make it forward, you don't know how you're gonna move to the next step. Staying up late at night, right? Can't sleep, maybe getting up super early in the morning. Take advantage of that, by the way. And when you sit back and you look at your why, for me, my children, I stand on family, I stand on faith, and I stand on purpose. What am I doing it for? Who am I doing it for? What's the goal? What is my goal outcome? What does that look like? You know, and how can I get there? And then it just reminds me like quitting is not an option, right? So even when things get tough, and everything doesn't seem to be perfectly falling in place the way you need to, you still got to keep going. And those are the things that matter. So find a reason that's bigger than your struggle. And it's going to put you in a situation where you're forced to think and you're using that, right? You're taking that kind of pause, that combat pause in a sense, right? Intentional pause, you're reflecting, and then it's going to help you. Leads us to the next thing. The next thing is you need to create some daily rituals. Why daily rituals? Because motivation isn't always about just grand gestures, right? It's in the small daily actions. For me, it's as simple as this morning, throat was hurting. I woke up about 3 or 4 a.m. I went and made some tea, and me and my partner, we have some thinking chairs, some prayer chairs that we have in our bedroom. And I got up and I went to that chair and I sat there, drank my tea, read some word. I did what things that helped me, right? I journaled a little bit, wrote out some notes for even what I was going to talk about today, wrote out my goals, right? I ended up being up way earlier than I planned on being this morning, that's for sure. But I took advantage of the time, right? And that could be different for you, right? Maybe it's get up early, go to the gym, get your fitness on, maybe it's, get up and just pack your partner's lunch or breakfast or get the kids stuff ready a little bit earlier, whatever that is, right? But create something that you can do routinely, something that is going to assist you with keeping your mind focused on what your goals are and take your mind off how some of the hardships are. And then, those things that are going to stick there, right? Some of those hardships that are probably there for a little bit longer than you want them to be, understand that your purpose still reigns, right? So take a morning routine, whether it's 5 minutes of silence, just build on something consistent that you can do that's going to keep you focused and keep you moving forward, right? Routines matter. Next, set small goals, celebrate the wins. I haven't always been the best at this. Sometimes when you're looking at the big picture, it feels overwhelming, right? And breaking it down can keep us going. I've learned that setting small goals and celebrating when I reach them is essential. For instance, I was working on a pretty big goal one time when I was flipping properties, and I knew that it was going to be difficult to get to the next spot. And as I'm working on it, time and time is going by, and I'm like, why am I further? I feel like I'm getting closer, but then I feel like I set back. And this deal was supposed to have this much in the profit margin. It ended up only having this, right? Next thing I know, I sat back and I was just looking at my portfolio. I was going through my phone, clearing out old pictures. Because even though if you got an Android, shout out to you, but no disrespect to the Apple people. But even though, you got like a lot of storage and stuff like that, y'all know how I work. When new phones come out, for some reason, the old phones just start all of a sudden having problems, right? And you start getting alerts that you got a little bit less space than you had, and you're like, dude, I had like 100 gigs, right? But realistically, I was going through, some old photos, and I started noticing, I'm looking and I'm like, God, wow, I didn't even realize this much has happened. Like this much has taken place in that little bit of time, and I started celebrating that win. And then I created a tradition, where in my business, after every X amount of milestone, and that may look different for me than what it looks like for you, we went out and we celebrated, me and my partner at the time. And we did that. And I duplicated that in several of the other things that I was doing. And I noticed that, when times were getting tough, it was easier because those milestones that I was celebrating reminded me that I'm hitting my goals, that I'm going in the right direction, right? It may not always happen overnight. It may not always happen the exact way that you want it to, but a lot of times, as you're working through getting towards your ultimate goal, there's incremental pieces, right? There's smaller doses of your goal that you've already touched, right? And you're acknowledging your blessings. Breaking it down is going to keep you going, right? It's essential. And you want to make sure that you're continuously reminding yourself that you're pushing, that you're on the right road. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Right. Number 4, embrace growth through change. Listen, change can be the hardest part. Trust me. Whew, I could do a whole nother video on that. Right. Change can be the hardest part. Right now I'm finishing up my master's in organizational management. And I am also finishing my certification in UX UI, right? It's hard balancing both. I'm still a father, I still work full time, I'm still in the military, so I got a lot of little things going on. And I'm not one to say that because my schedule is packed or because I have this or this, whatever, I'm a fraternal man. I'm a family man. I'm a man of faith. I like to be involved in the community, keep my hands in some politics, different things like that. But those are my choices, and I'm blessed to have an opportunity to be able to do some of those things. And that's serious, right? When things start changing, maybe some of those titles start changing, right, that you have, or maybe some of those organizations that you were a part of, you move on from, or the job, right? Or just relationships, things change, right? And change can be tough, right? It can be an eye opener. It can be awakening. It can knock you off your feet a little bit, but you got to stay on that path. You got to stay focused, right? Even with all the changes that I've had, especially recently, right? Each one has brought me a different level of growth. It's taught me to embrace the different shifts, even if they're painful, understanding that they're part of the journey, right? That's the key. It's part of the journey, right? So don't be afraid. Don't run from and try to skip through, your part of the journey that matters, right? Because it's going to take you to where you need to be. Number 5, find you a support system. Listen, I'm one of those people, like, I don't call people my friends for fun. If you're a friend to me, I have something that I owe you in that space or what I appreciate about our relationship, and I expect you to have the same, right? I may talk to this specific friend for this specific reason in this specific situation, and then it may be a whole nother friend for another one, right? But that makes up my support system, right? If I can count on you for one or two things, whatever the case may be, right? It doesn't have to be a set number. But I like my friends to be accountable and I like for them to hold me accountable. So I like to have an accountability partnership, right? And I don't like friends that tell me I'm always right. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to improve. So I want me a friend that's going to be like, hey, yo, Jay, that was dumb. Like, you should not have done that, right? Don't do that no more, right? Or, hey, that was a great job. Do that again. Duplicate that, right? And back and forth, right? I can do the same thing for them. We're comfortable helping each other grow. That's a support system. That's solid. Look, you don't have to go through everything alone, right? I know some people like, don't tell your business. Don't say such and such. And I get it. And I get it, right? But there are sometimes, when that feedback, right, that conversation is going to help you get through it. Having a few people to turn to when things get rough, it could be a game changer, right? So I appreciate my support system. And if support system to my people in my network, if you know that it's you, I appreciate you. I love you, and I hope for all of you guys, y'all build you a support network too, so you can keep going when the times get tough, right? Find your tribe. Don't be afraid to lean on them. So listen, at the end of the day, it's not about being motivated every single second. It's about being consistent and finding ways to stay on the path. I want you to remember that we're all in this together, right? And don't take the tone of my voice. This is just, my throat is hurting, right? But I wanted to make sure I got on here and talk to everybody today, right? I'm not sad, nothing like that, right? And it's okay to be sad. That's just not where I am today, right? But I do have a lot going on, and I appreciate that, right? I'm not one of them people to be like, oh, I got so much going on, I just can't deal with it. Nah, I got a lot going on, but hey, man, take a ticket, right? We're going to get to it. We're going to make it happen. You're not going to hear a bunch of doubt from me, because I want to move forward. I want to learn from my mistakes. I want to learn from the changes that have been made in my life. I know someone is in control of all of this, so I'm just doing my part. At the end of the day, I know who I need to rely on, and I'm staying motivated, and I'm doing things like this to keep myself reminded, because look, I may be a strong man, or think of myself as a strong man, strong father, strong partner, whatever, businessman, right? Student, but I get weak too. And it's okay to have your weak moments, right? Just make sure you're taking some of these steps and you know what to do to get through your weak moments so you can get back to the strong you. I want to see the strong you, and I know you can do it, right? I want you to stay motivated. I want you to stay on your path. I want you to share some thoughts below, man. Tell me how you're staying motivated. We can all move forward together. Tell me a couple steps that I may have missed, something that's worked for you. Make sure you like, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue this challenge. This is the no edit challenge. So I'm giving it to you raw. I'm talking to you. I'm not changing nothing. I'm going to put it online, and I hope it reaches you. So I'm super excited. I hope you have an amazing day on purpose, right? I'll talk to you later. Jay.